God, the Memphis Grizzlies are a disorganized fucking mess. This isn't even the video I meant to bring to you guys today. But that's just how it is. Because the Grizzlies, well, they went full Grizzlies again. This is the way this team has been since Robert Pera bought the team. It's just one head-scratching decision after another. And it's been this way for the better part of a decade. Let's think about this. Lionel Hollins was fired after making the Western Conference Championship as an underdog. Because he would have cost too much. That's the reason. Robert Pera is one of the cheapest owners you will ever meet. He is the anti-Dan Snyder, if you want to compare to other sports and other owners. Dan Snyder throws money at everything. Robert Pera pinches every fucking penny. Every single coach since Hollins has been the lowest paid in the entire league. They add on coaching options that they have no intentions on ever actually picking up. Dave Yeager was the next one. He was horrendously underpaid because they brought him up from the D-League. He lasted a couple of years, and while the team, instead of trying to, maybe retool and actually build into a contender, stuck to their stubborn ways and remained grit and grind at a time in which grit and grind was no longer going to last in the NBA. Yeager was shown the fucking door. Then, David Fizdale. Fizdale got 101 games. 101. And he wasn't even that bad. He was 50-51. The reason they fired him is because they went on a losing streak when Mike Conley hurt his ankle. Oh, and because Marc Gasol, being a locker room cancer is nothing new to Marc Gasol. And Mark threw a temper tantrum after a blowout loss, and that cost Fizz his job. So they brought in Mark's personal puppet, J.B. Bickerstaff. Someone grossly unqualified for the job. Grossly unqualified. Absolutely fucking terrible coach. And yet, he got almost 2 full seasons. He shouldn't have been brought back at the end of last year going into this year. But the team ultimately decided that Bickerstaff was the right man for the job. In other words, he was the one that was going to take a massive underappreciated contract that he probably shouldn't have gotten. This is a man that really shouldn't be a head coach. But again, just like Fizz, just like Yeager, lowest paid coach in the NBA. Still. So this was his first year as the head coach. And Memphis thought that after last year, all they would need was a top 3 pick, and they could be a contender. Those were the words of Chris Wallace and Robert Pera. How'd that go for you? You were garbage again. Because you still don't have an identity. You're one day committed to being grit and grind. You're one day committed to being the next wave of the NBA with threes and fast-paced offense. There's no identity for this team at all. They continuously just shit all over FedEx Forum. And yesterday, to the surprise of nobody, J.B. Bickerstaff was fired. A job he shouldn't have had in the first place, but regardless, when you give a man an extension and name him your full-time head coach the year after firing the last guy, and then fire him again, you fire this guy a year later. I'm not even sure the Grizzlies should be an NBA team at this point. This is embarrassing, man. How far gone do you have to be to look at a team that, an aging Mike Conley who's injury prone, and then who's your second best player? a 19-year-old Raw player in Jaren Jackson? Or is it Dylan Brooks, the second rounder from last year? Like, this is a bad roster, and they thought that they were a contender. Although, I guess it does make sense. I mean, the Grizzlies didn't have to cater to every wish of Marc Gasol. Because despite Marc Gasol being buddy-buddy with Robert Pera, he ultimately decided he needed to get the fuck out of there and used all of his locker room cancer ways to get traded to my hometown team, the Toronto Raptors. And in the process, you got Jonas Valanciunas, who was a fan favorite in Toronto, and he got injured and didn't want to have to come back and play for you guys. What a just disjointed, overall, goddamn colossus fucking mess. I have no idea who the hell is going to interview in Memphis or who the hell would want that job. But all I know is it's going to be a long fucking offseason.